Greetings, 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 family. This is Terry Riggs, Mr. Riggs, UK tour guide to the rest of the world. As today we were supposed to have a situation with the international sister circles, but today we're going to invite most of you ladies out there to come and join us, as we have a beautiful lady from one of the sacred women, and she's part of the international sister circle. Most of the ladies are away at this precise moment doing their thing, but in anyone that wish to join us in this beautiful day, this beautiful sunshine, and I know in the United States that everyone's just waking up to that sunshine and light. But you know what? I'm going to introduce the beautiful lady to make her even introduce herself, because she is a diamond. This is someone that is, I don't even know how to explain it in the kitchen. Amazing. But she's going to talk who she is and what she's about. Sister?
Yes, that would be me.
Yes.
Well, greetings, family. My name is Chef Ameera. I am a Los Angeles-based chef, based in Los Angeles, but I travel the globe. And I am a food alchemist, which means that I take the energetic imprint of food and I transfer that in. Well, it's in food, it's within me. I put it into the food, and therefore it goes into my client so that it can heal their body and assist with their transformation, because we are all here to transform, elevate our vibration, and evolve our soul. So that is what I do by the way of food and other modalities, but mainly what we're talking about here today, food. And so when we're dealing with food alchemy, we can actually just start on what I've been working on, what I've been called to work on for this season to help everyone elevate their vibration, which would be I have a cleanse that is called Elevate Your Vibration. It's a chakra cleanse. So it goes through the 7, main chakras. We have more, but it goes through the 7 main chakras. And we go through the energetic imprint. I go through activating that chakra so that we can release what is causing stagnation, and eat foods, living foods, vegan, but mostly living foods that really help the body release, like bringing that electromagnetism so that the body can perform at its optimum level. Everyone can receive their downloads and can begin to bring in more light on the planet, which is needed at this time. So I think that pretty much sums it up. Is that good, brother?
Yeah, that's good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Peace to everyone. If you feel like you like to come on board and have a dialogue with us, please join us. I will be putting the link into the chat so people can come in and talk. We can talk and reason and tell you about what's going on today. As we're going, I just want us to just have a little dialogue of giving the people an understanding about the chef herself, how she began and how she started her journey.
Oh, how did I begin? So, you know what? I'm actually going to take a seat, and then I have a culinary treat. I'll come back in my kitchen when we get ready for that. So I started in the kitchen. I've been cooking since I was 8 years old. So food has always been like a love and a passion, and actually it's one of my gifts. We all have gifts that we come here for. So did I know that was my gift when I was younger? No, but I know that I love to do it, and I did it very well. And I didn't have to have anybody teach me. I just picked up on it. And so actually, I'm trying to think, when did I start? About 13, 14 years ago, that's when I started my business. And it was out of me being fired. I was actually in the entertainment industry, and I wasn't completely happy there. And, the universe gave me a few nudges until I got fired. And then I knew exactly. I was like, you know what? I'm going to start a catering business. I'm going to start a private chef business, and I'm just going to use all my contacts in the industry. And voila, 15 years later, through lots of trials and tribulations and learning, I am here. So that was, I literally, like, I actually, when I first decided to make my, or come up with Chef Ameera, I'm like, that's going to be my name. And I knew exactly who I wanted to work with. I made a list of everybody who I wanted to work with, and I have worked with everybody on that list except for 3 people. So I was very clear, and I knew that I wanted to work in the industry. I knew exactly the clientele. I knew exactly the lifestyle that I wanted to live. And I didn't know how I was going to make that happen, but I was very clear on the vision that came to me as to what I was to do and who I was to do it with.
Okay. So, like when, like in forms of like the education as a young person, would you have been in a place where, as I said to you, would you think forward into the future and see where you're at now? Did you think you would get to where you are now when you was younger?
I didn't even have this vision of myself when I was younger. Like, I'm gonna be a chef. I didn't know what I was gonna do. I just knew when I was younger, I like to have fun. Like, I like to have fun. I mean, I had said, like, I want to do hair. I knew that it was going to be something artistic. I can tell you, like, that is always been the arts, whether it's hair, I can do this, I can do this. And I always had had an entrepreneurial spirit, even as a child. I mean, when I was 8 years old, I was taking stuff from, or maybe I was 9, probably about 9. I was taking things out of my mom's garage, selling them where we lived in Calabasas. I was washing cars. I was buying candy at there was only one store that was near us. I would buy it there, take it to school, sell it. So I always had an entrepreneurial spirit. So literally that was just like my higher self spirit just guiding me as into, building a foundation on understanding that entrepreneurial flow. And, but yeah, I did not have this vision until I was like, no, this is how it's going to be. Like, it wasn't until like literally was it about my Saturn return? Yeah. Right around my Saturn return.
So where did you get the idea, that I want to become this chef I am today?
It was a download, like literally, because prior to that, I was working at Paramount. I was really unhappy, like even to the point to where, like, I remember it was Christmas. So and my boss at the time, she had given me a Christmas card. And the Christmas card is, she wrote, she hopes that I find what I want to do in life. And I'm like, who does this? Like, this is so rude. But literally that was just the divine, like, this is not it, honey. That you're not happy here. And I actually was going to the Bahamas during Hurricane Katrina. And I was coming back with me and my kids, and our plane almost crashed. Like, mayday going down. And it scared, like, it put me like actually in a depression, and that's what caused, like, that led me to getting fired and starting my business. But it took that type of divine intervention to get me to step into my purpose.
Okay. Let's look at on the other side of things, that again, to your purpose on a spiritual level, where was you at that time?
There's the key. I'm glad you got to this, because I didn't have, my spiritual foundation wasn't there. Like, intuitively things, or like luck would happen. Oh my gosh. But I was like always wondering why, like, I'm good. I'm a nice person, I kept saying, which even nice, I don't say nice now, I say kind, because there's a difference. But I would always say, like, I'm such a nice person. Why are these things happening to me? Or why aren't things breaking through for me? Why am I living this life of, looking like poverty? It wasn't like, to me, it was a life of poverty, because and everybody has their different levels of poverty. But from where I am now, it was a life of poverty. It was just the consciousness wasn't there. I did not have my spiritual foundation. And that was in 2011, which is after I started my business. I probably would say halfway. I'm trying to say like 2006, 2007 was around like when I started my business. And so in 2011, which was about 4 years later, was when my father passed, and I lost everything, like contracts that I was working on with like an MBA player, just everything fell apart. And that was the universe, therefore, that divine intervention again, getting me to lay my spiritual foundation. And that was when that began, like my spiritual journey was in 2011.
Okay. So, as I know, one of my spiritual mothers is Queen Afua, and I've been like learning a lot through Queen Afua and a lot of things about her. How did you even find your foundation towards Queen Afua herself?
Okay, so towards Queen Afua, I actually was introduced to Queen Afua, like, was that in 2016? I'm gonna say about 2016. A friend of mine was bringing Queen Afua out to Los Angeles, and she asked me to cater an event for her. And so that's when I connected with Queen Afua. And I didn't go through Sacred Woman then because I had other things that I was literally like in the dark night of the soul during that period. And so years later, last year, we connected. I catered, or I came to be, I was like the retreat chef for a retreat she was having out here, and it was just amazing. And from that, I went through Sacred Woman. You know, I was like, okay, it's time for me to go through Sacred Woman. Now is the time for me. But I wasn't called and say initially in 2016, or I was like, okay, it's cool, but I didn't go read the book. I didn't go get, and I understood and I respected who she was, but I didn't, I wasn't called then.
So in when you was within it, how did you find the energy and the vibrations amongst the sisters and Queen Afua in that form of connection with her?
You said, how did I hear? Repeat the question for me, love.
Okay, like how did you find it amongst the sacred sisters, and as well as going through the passage of what was happening within the Queen Afua camp? Well, how did you find the graduations and the events and all that kind of stuff?
Well, what I loved about, say sisterhood is because for me, I have within my own sisters, I never had that sisterhood. So definitely, it was enlightening, and it felt really good just to have just that feminine energy there, just to support you. And as you're going through the gateways now, like say individually, I had studied a lot of those different components or just incorporated them intuitively within my life. So what I loved about Sacred Woman was how things were, like, if you want to call it a module or whatever, but within the gateway, I loved how you have here is basically say your patron goddess, and here is connected to this, and it's connected to this, and it's connected, like just seeing everything that's within that gateway. So I really love seeing how the structure of how it was laid out. And excuse me. And just her support, like understanding, having, your asset, your nev head, like, you're basically, and I have, like, it didn't happen in the program, and it's with a friend of mine who's not in the program, but we reconnected, and literally it's like I tell her, like, I'm Sachet, she's Tahuti, because I channel the information, and I'm like, hey, here's the vision, and she just writes it down and puts it into perfect words. So yeah, I loved like, for me, when I was connected with Queen Afua and I went through Sacred Woman, which even that we kind of went through that weekend, and I wasn't even like, I didn't have the book during the retreat, but just being there in the presence, and I was within that portal that she had created, I was being activated. So that led me to go and do the entire program. And that literally was me awakening that feminine energy, that aspect, because I'm a chef. So chefs, we have long hours. I'm working with Diddy. I'm working with everyone, tons of hours. And so that's just a lot of doing, a lot of masculine energy. And it really allowed me to just really step into my feminine energy, which is about receiving, which is about, rest and recovery, and incorporating those things in my life.
Yeah, and when we're talking about the healing, when I saw you, because I see you doing your regular IGs, and you know what, people tune into her IGs when she goes live because it's a great experience. But within that channeling, what do you gain or receive from the things that you do in forms of healing? Because I know a lot of us are going through this trauma, and a lot of women out there don't know where to start from or how to begin or what to do to able to detoxify the traumas and receiving the high powers of energy to give them that motivation. So, just give us a little bit of an insight of what you do when you're doing these things on the IG.
Well, when I am, so it depends on if we're just gonna have a talk, if I'm in the kitchen, or if I'm on the bowls. So when I'm on the bowls, and generally when I do, I mean, I've tried to plan out IGs, they just don't work. Like, oh, you go live or go live today. I might get like a go live today, okay. And or I'm just like, I just go live and like, hey, in like 10 minutes, I'll just tell my friend Roz, I'm like, I'm going live in 10 minutes. And so if it's on the bowls, like literally I'm just the vessel for the healing that needs to come through the bowls, whether it's just like just to clear out some things, if it's just to wake up to, it might just be to clear out like all of the traumatic things that people have taken in, just even on social media, like just because whenever somebody is, and they're publicized for a reason to keep on with the trauma. But when we see that someone has been, another murder, everybody posts it. I'm like, why are we posting more of this? Because when you understand your vision, then you're going to create more of it. That's universal law. So, when it comes into a sound healing, that usually is it. And it's usually followed by like whatever is coming forth for me to speak about, like it might be, I can't remember what the last one was. And usually I don't. People are like, do you remember it? No, I don't, because it wasn't like I thought of it and I wrote it down. Like I channeled it. It was meant for me just to come live. So, like right now I'm actually going to go live later on today just because there's a lot and usually sometimes I take in and I see what's going on. I don't like to just hop right out there when something, I like to get the divine call just to say, okay, great, speak on this so you can get perspective into. And that's a lot what I do, is because you'll have one narrative running on social media or whatever, because that is, I can see the unseen hand behind the scene as to really what's going on or to where they're trying to lead people. So I like to give people a different perspective so that they can exercise their free will, because they're not exercising their free will when you're going off of programming that's programming you to actually towards something that you don't really want. You just don't realize, you don't see the end goal because you don't really understand like this plan that's been in place.
Yeah. So, and let's get to like in the round of your chefs, because what I've noticed that you do a lot of events and you work around a lot of celebrities. And there's a lot of people out here that want to know what you're up to and how you get into the chef catering business in forms of working with these celebrities. I just wanted to know how did you start that, and how do you find working with celebrities? Because some people might be starstruck or they might panic, or how do you keep that composure within that environment?
Okay, so that's a good question. It's so funny. They posted me in something and was saying they were kind of looking for people have been looking. So when it comes into like, or how do you work with celebrities, or, which is actually a course that I'm working on, and not so much how to work in celebrities, but if you want to be your own quote unquote celebrity chef. For one, this all started with the vision. I had the vision. It came to me in a vision. I had the vision. I didn't have the business acumen. I didn't know about that. I knew I had a vision. Chef AMEERA. I saw like these shirts. I had these shirts designed. The vision came to me. It came in a vision. That is how we should be moving. A lot of times people might see something, they want to do it. Why? Because it's popular. Oh my goodness. That feeling, that experience is what I want, but maybe it's not part of your calling. You might not be called to do that. That's why a lot of culinary schools shut down, because everybody saw the Food Network and they saw this and they had this one favorite dish and that their auntie loved it and they're like, I'm gonna be a chef. And when they saw the work that went into it, they were unemployable, because not everybody can be their chef. So when it comes into working with celebrities, first I had the vision. Two, I already was in the network. So your network is your net worth. Like, so who is your network? 3, if you want to work, maybe you're not within that industry. It could be even reaching out to their publicists or creating something. Everything has changed so much now with social media. So you have more access, but then like everybody is a quote unquote chef. I'm not saying anything about anyone, but it's just like you haven't even put in like the years, or not even so much the years, just understanding like there's just ethics that go along with a particular, it's an art form. So there's certain things that you should know within this art form, and understanding the gift that you have, and actually the healing that you're bringing to your client. Even if it's like, even if I'm cooking meat and whatnot, you know, people can say, oh no, that's low vibration. And if I'm really looking at I can go look at something that's quote unquote vegan, that's highly processed, and the people, their only intention is to make money. So you can't tell me that that has a higher vibration versus something that actually has been, it's probably farm raised. It's literally comes from, like, there's a divine connection there. The farmers have a connection. I don't believe that that vegan thing is a higher vibration than this over here. I don't believe it. And we can probably there are different scales that can measure spiritual energy and something. I'm sure if we would measure the spiritual energy, we would see that my hypothesis holds true. So that goes back to, like, for one, the vision, like really asking, you might have to ask, like, okay, so this is what I want to do, like asking the divine creator, who, whatever it is that you pray for it, like just that divine confirmation, that divine vision, so that you can move forward. Because I move forward by vision. I might think of a few things, but I get the vision and then I move forward because I already have seen it happen. We have to move by vision, not by sight. You know, that's third eye. I do a lot of third eye work. And then the network, even finding out like whether it's publicists or like, so who.
Oh.
But and then just, you have to just build up that network. If you know where like publicists, or I'm trying to think of who, like that's just what keeps coming to me, are publicists, because a lot of times they might do, I've done events for some of them for like, say, for free, for exposure. And a lot of publicists, I've done different things for the Grammys, you know, so that those different things, but also making sure your contract is in place. But there's different things you can do for exposure. So maybe either you know something that they're doing, or you can put something together and say, hey, great, I'm offering my service for this, and this is what I want in return. That's the way that you can do that. That's the same, like, and that's really what I have these influencers are doing now. So that's probably like a good way to go about it. But when you're working with these celebrities, understanding like what you've been seeing is behind the scenes is totally different. So you can't be starstruck. And I'm not starstruck. And quite honestly, I grew up around celebrities my whole life. So maybe that's it, like that. I'm in LA, so I'm not like, unless my name is on a co-signer on an account, I'm not tripping. Like, you're not moving me.
Okay, so now let's get into our food and healing, because before we start to go into demonstrations of what kind of foods we can eat and able to find what we consume to helping us out, what put you on that path of food healing itself?
It was like literally the divine intervention. A lot of things, we have the divine intervention that comes in our life. And so when I think back, to I think back to 2011, actually before 2011, or maybe it was 2011. And I know this because literally I love Facebook memories for this. So Facebook memories, in the very week that I created, excuse me, shown that, like, my memory, like 9 years ago this day, this is what you did. And I was talking about this raw food cleanse that I was just going on. I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, so 9 years to the week that I started this was when I went vegan raw. So for me, it was just like a calling. I just like, it wasn't like, let me go research it. I just had got this thing about raw foods. And I always said I would never do raw foods. I remember when I used to work with this catering company, and in the film, it was for some movie, I forgot, but Woody Harrelson was in it. So he is like very much raw vegan, has been there. And he had his food delivered to the set. And when I saw this food, I was like, this is disgusting. Like, who would even eat this raw food? Like, and that was back in, I say, like 2006 or something like that. So, we've come a long way since then. So it looked like just like pureed, like I just was like, this is gross. Like I would never do raw food. What's raw food? Just so ignorant. I didn't know. And so fast forward to 2011 when I was just getting this call, this download, this calling, this divine intervention was just like, you need to go raw. So I literally did some research. I was led to something online. I'm always led just to the right things. Like my spirit will be like right here. I'll know exactly where I'm supposed to be. And then I did the raw food cleanse for the week. And literally, like by day 6, like I remember a friend of mine came by. He was like, "Yo, what are you drinking? Red Bull?" I was like, "Nah, juice." Like, yo, I am pumped. I like my energy. I had lost like 6 pounds. Like I had to actually screenshot like everything. I was like, "Oh my goodness!" Like I'm just seeing. It just was such a refreshing just to see, to go back, to time travel back to when I did that, because I didn't realize, say, forecasting, that was in May of 2011. So we go to August of 2011 was my father passed. So the universe was already preparing me, cleansing my temple for what was to come. Like, so I could be really clear, because when it happened, like I lost everything, and it might even have been, maybe I didn't even have to lose everything, but I didn't stay on like it. And that probably, actually, that was the way it needed to happen. Like for me, I need some type of extreme things to be like, okay, like I got my accident. Like I was like, okay, like, so I need, like, it got me to where, like, to be really focused for what's to come now. So we all have these divine intervention moments. What might seem like a catastrophe, or it might be however you look at it or however it's received, but it was to get me ready for my father passing, and for me to go into, like, really be awakened to my spiritual journey, and to really work with foods as medicine, and also excuse me, yes, food is medicine. And just understanding I'm still going to do cook with other things, but understanding the healing arts. And even after that, I was conflicted. I was like, well, I can't cook that stuff anymore. I was going super extreme until when the universe showed me, like, no, actually you can do both, because not everybody is even going to be ready for that. But if you can deposit that energy into this right here, you're going to get them to where they need to go in this lifetime, if they're open and they have to do the work. So yeah, that is how I came into the healing arts.
Okay, now we've got a sister in the house. We've got the beautiful Majestic, and sister
Chef
to
Ameera, brother Terry, greetings, family. Wow, yes. So I just finished a workout, so pardon.
It's all good.
Yes.
That's how you stay domestic.
Give thanks. Yes, I had a question actually.
Mm-hmm.
So when I went plant-based for myself, and thank you, son. I chef it from my kitchen. I love cooking, have a passion for cooking, and love seeing some of the stuff that you do, Chef Ameera. And so my question is, a lot of people are asking me, if they don't cook, they find it hard to go plant-based or raw, right? And so how would you respond to, like, people who are asking that don't cook, because it's already, they find it challenging enough to go plant-based or even try to eat good when they don't cook?
Well, there's the problem right there. They don't cook. So you're not even really in the process, like including you're not even within the process of the healing that happens within your body. And that actually is a problem. Because understanding like that right there is like, I'm channeling the energy that needs to have like the transformation, like all that's going into, like, even for things that are unknown to me on what healing I need, is I'm just going to channel the energy into the food. So that's the issue. But what they can do is that you're going to have to find somebody who does meal delivery, or that means you're going to be paying more. That's what it means. You're going to be paying. So you have to already include that in. Understand that you're going to be needing to, or not even pay more. You're going to have to invest more. And it's an investment at this point to find a chef or find a meal delivery service that you like. And they're very hard to find, like, that really can take, it just takes a lot. People don't realize until they start to cook, sometimes, why is it so expensive? Go cook. You'll find out. You'll see how it's not just easy. We just don't throw anything together. Sometimes it might need to be cooked down a few times, like to really build that flavor. So they don't even understand the process of what it takes to create that food. So Yeah, that's, well, hey, that's how a lot of my clients, they do know. Like one of my clients he does not cook at all. So hey,
Okay.
they're coming in the equation. But yeah, they either one need to learn how to cook, or just two, just understand that you need to either get if you need to go get a side or something, so that you can invest in a meal delivery or place that does it for you. But it has to be like, even like for me, because I cook for a living, or that's my thing. I sometimes I don't even prep stuff out. I might have a few things that are like ready, but I don't even prep everything out, just because usually I don't even have the space in my fridge. I have other people here, and I'm usually just kind of on the go. But for anybody else, having things prepared is key. Because as soon as you don't have it ready, and especially it's not even part of your routine yet, you'll get the back.
Okay. Yeah.
So
Okay.
I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it did. It did.
Okay.
It helps a lot. I think once people start to understand routines is important. And I guess looking into some of the resources that could help you connect with people that are chefing or do cook. And one thing I did find for me was I get really creative. And I see you throw down, you get so creative, so beautiful with the colors and stuff. But for people who are starting out, one of the things I think might help would be keeping things simple. Because if spices and mixing and all of that stuff is great when you can learn the technique, but keeping it a little simple for yourself to start out. Basic salad, lettuce, cucumber, tomatoes, peppers. And
within my cleanse that I have, elevate your recipes that are in the guide are very simple. I'm all about keeping it simple, but I like flavor. Like, I don't like things that don't have flavor. I'm just not gonna. I don't care how good it is for you. So
for sure.
And having like your go-tos, like even people I have there. I remember at the beginning, all the sisters buying everything. I was like, y'all not even going to have their watch. They didn't need half of it. They're like, you're right, Chef Ameera. I'm like, because you don't have the time for that. Do you understand even how much time and energy it takes into getting that? Keep it simple, because then they realize I'm not even that hungry. Why? Because your body actually is releasing all of a few different things that are stored. It needs to actually digest those things because you've been holding on to it. So sometimes you're not going to eat. 2, it takes 80% of your body's energy to digest food. So, and for me on Sundays, which is the crown chakra day of my cleanse, I fast during the day and then I eat in the evening. And so incorporating those things. So yes, keeping it simple. Like, I mean, maybe 2 salads a week where you can use the same dressing. Maybe you're putting different toppings, some juices, smoothie, boom. And you're not going to even eat, which actually the dish that I have that I'm going to make today is very simple. And I came up with it because I was at my client, I went grocery shopping, came to my clients, and I was like, I'm hungry. And I had a tomato and an avocado. I was like, yo, I know exactly. I know I had never made it before, but I just made this quick dish, and now it is my favorite go-to salad. Like, it's so yummy, and it's so simple.
Okay, in the facts of some of these foods and these ingredients, in able to detoxify or heal yourself, what kind of tips could you give people to see what they can eat on a everyday basis?
I mean, living foods. I mean, because it's living foods for your body. And like, I'm not fully vegan. I used to be. I don't believe. I know some of my spiritual teachers are way advanced, and it has nothing to do with that. Quite, it does help, and maybe your body, maybe your chemistry, maybe you need that. Maybe even between the karma that you brought lifetime, it might be necessary for you or specific individuals, and that's okay. But right now, to keep it, I mean, I love avocados, tomatoes, mangoes. Like, that's probably what I eat a lot of. Like, I probably eat like 3 mangoes a day. And for me, I mean, even like I tell mono meals, like, at first they didn't know what I was talking about. And I was like, yo, like, this is my go-to. And as like second week, so the program it has 2 weeks. By the second week, they're like, oh, chef, we love these mono meals. Like, you don't even need all that. I get it. I'm creative. I'm a chef. I like all that. But when it comes into great, so I'm focusing on this cleansing and this healing, you don't need all that extra stuff unless you're going to have somebody make it for you. Unless you have a me in your life. It's keeping it simple. Like that's it. Like just keep it, like allow the body to like really rest, you know, like because if you're detoxing, that means you really have to, you're releasing something. And then to release something, you need to be open to like, you need to be in a state of even like, I would say even more like relaxation. So like release something. Cause I know if I'm holding on to something, I'm tense. And when I relax, I release. And that's not going to happen if I'm so focused on making all this extra stuff. Like even there's one dish that we do, I'm actually going to make next week. It's the raw tacos. And from there, I mean, you put it into a salad. Then I made a tostada, like with so many, like literally it tastes just like, for me, I love Mexican pizzas. Like that's one of my favorites, like growing up as a kid. And so literally it's vegan because I put cooked beans on it and I use an almond flour tortilla that I cook. But the meat is raw, everything else is raw. So literally it's like that right there is like, no, it literally tastes like the Taco Bell Mexican pizza, but way better. Like fire, just straight fire. That's all.
Okay. So I just want to ask a question, right? Because I hear a lot of the women when they talk about womb healing.
Yeah.
Now, is there a form of food that can help or enhance or to do something to helping them with that womb healing?
There is, and that is not my expertise. I don't spend a lot of time and you know what, that could change in 3 months. But right now, I'm on just the chakras, the energetic centers, which within there, we're speaking of the sacral chakra, the second chakra, the chakra that deals with water, the chakra that deals with creativity, and we're going into Cancer. So that is a very important chakra to be focusing on. So we have, I mean, even, and I would deal with the energy more behind that chakra, which is going to be we have a lot of people who have dealt with sexual abuse. That's going to be stored in that chakra. That right there also is going to that probably deals with creating, fibroids. It's not always even what you eat. Because I know my cousin who just found out, like at 50 something, she has fibroids. She's never had them. And she doesn't eat dairy and stuff. So we can rule that out. But what it is the energy. She's like certain trauma. Know that that's what created that. So we have to look at, it's not always the food that we're eating and everything. A lot of times it's the emotions. We've got to deal with emotional stuff. And so there are particular foods that are good for that. I mean, basically I would say you want to stay away from dairy. You probably want to stay, like if you need to cleanse them out or you're dealing with issues in that area, you want to stay away from meat, animal products. You want to stay away from processed things. There's certain chemicals that you want to stay away from. And I mean, like that's a basic as to where we can go from there. But yeah, that chakra also is, you can say it's the water element. So, water, it holds memory. There we go. Like water holds memory. So I would say, sound healing would be really good for that chakra. And even speak like just really words of affirmation, and you got to speak life into it, because there's an aspect of, if you're having any type of issues, and there's an aspect that where there's an energy blockage or even something has died there, so it needs to be brought back to life, and we can use our words of Heka, our words of power to assist in that. And then to diet, the body is going to let you know exactly. Everybody is different, and there's probably a general like umbrella to where like this can work, and you just what's best for you. So I hope that answers the question.
Okay. So in what you're demonstrating for us today, give us some nice deluxe details.
Oh yeah, so we're gonna keep this is gonna be quite simple, love. So this right here is a tomato and avocado carpaccio salad. So I call it a carpaccio on there because if you understand, like beef carpaccio or anything that's carpaccio is thinly sliced and it's like layered down. So I'm going to make a avocado and tomato carpaccio salad with a few spices, herbs, hemp seeds, and some edible flour. Very, very.
Melanated, greetings.
Greetings, Mr. Riggs. Greetings to the sisters on the panel and everyone in the chat. I'm enjoying the conversation. I heard you mention, Sister Amara, that you eat about 3 mangoes a day. And I love mangoes. Let me start by saying that. But recently, I have really started trying to count my carbs, like how much sugar I was like taking in. And so I supplemented like really sugary fruits for berries. So I do only berries. I haven't had a banana in God knows, I don't know how many months, just because of like how much sugar is in it. Um, and I just wanted to know what your thoughts were about that. Like, is that should we be doing that, or is it a danger in I guess restricting your sugar intake, specifically pertaining to fruit?
I feel that if that is what, like, if that's what you started to look up, if you were called to that, then that is actually what you should follow. For everybody, it's going to be different. And if you know that you need to cut sugar out, or if you feel that your body is somewhat out of balance and you're looking up certain things and it gives you that, like, look at the sugar, like this is, now if I am called to add more berries or take out, then that's but I find, guess what? For this,
I can't really hear you that well, sis. I can't hear you that well.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I was saying that might be what your body is calling you to do right now. So in this season, that might work for you. And this season for me, I'm not getting that call. So I think that, or I feel,
I need your call. I need to get some mangoes.
so I believe it just like listen. Right now, it's just time to listen. Like, what is your body telling you? Like, and when my body, like, I know my body told me, okay, great, it's time for you to go back vegan. Like, you need to cleanse. And so then my body was just like, okay, then I got to go live, go share it, and then therefore now I create the program to where I'm helping others elevate their vibration. Cleansing via, like, as we're eating raw, we're also going into the chakra systems. And so it's just really about what works for you and what works for the season. This might not be for the whole season, maybe for this month or for 2 months. I'm not sure how long you've been doing it. That's what you need to do to bring things back in into alignment. And when your body tells you that it wants a mango, and there's also a difference between your body telling you and then having like there are parasites as well or having cravings, being able, like, if your body's like, I want a mango, give your body a mango. I'm not into like that strict. I used to be like super
right.
If your body is asking,
no, I'm not. I'm definitely not that strict, because I literally just had like a little handful of cooked potatoes, which I was, kind of restricting some of my starches. But like you said, if my body needs energy, and I know I'm not going to eat anything for quite some time, then I'll give it what it needs.
Yes,
Definitely.
Exactly. And it's just right now to listen to our body. And also, like, we're going to get the downloads. Okay, like, this season, this is what you need to be doing. Or for the next week, this is what your body needs. Or this is what it doesn't need. Remove this from your diet right now. And that's what we have to listen to. Not the doctors, because we already understand even the doctors, it's not even based off of anything that's melanated. It's based off of European models. So I'm not going to listen to anything that they say.
Well, definitely. Well, thank you so much for answering my questions. I will definitely be listening into the rest of the show. I'm enjoying it. Keep it going.
Little recipe. So this one you might like well. So yes, that's what I'm gonna be doing next is my tomato and avocado carpaccio salad. And so, Mr. Riggs, brother, are we ready for me to get into this?
We're ready now. Yes.
We're ready. Okay, awesome. So you'll have to let me if, or can I flip this camera around? Hold on. Video. No. Okay. Sorry, wrong button. Camera, mic. Hold on. Front camera, back camera. Okay, great. So, okay, I see now. Boom. Let me flip it this way so you guys can see what I'm doing. Let me know if you guys see the Yep, you can see that. Awesome. Okay. So, tomato carpaccio salad. Tomato and avocado carpaccio salad. This right here is actually a dressing that I made yesterday with soaked pine nuts and some hemp seeds. I'm not going to put that on there, but I had put that because I was going to go somewhere else with the dish as well, but I'm going to keep it simple. So right here we've got some. This is from yesterday, from my event or my client that I had yesterday. So I just pulled it out. This is actually some lemon zest, and these are some. This is chopped cilantro and parsley, which cilantro is really great for cleansing out the heavy metals. Right here we've got some hemp seeds. We got Himalayan salt, cumin, chipotle powder. I like a little kick on my stuff. I even like to put some cayenne in there as well. So here's our avocado. And what we're going to do is we are going to first, actually, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice up my tomato, and then I'm going to slice up my avocado. So there we go. Awesome. And I want to, okay, so I'm going to have to see if I can cut it so you guys can see. And I'm going to cut like nice thin slices, and I would like them even thinner than I know what I'm going to get, but you know, for this dish, you're going to want slice. You're going to want a really sharp knife as well. So this, my knife actually should be sharpened a bit, but see this slices right here. This is what you want them like that. So I'm going to slice it super thin. I'm going to come around, cut that side. We're slicing this up, literally. I'm going to say paper thin, but it's not quite paper thin, but as thin as you can get it. That's going to help it lay down, and it's going to keep it super sexy. Why? Because sexy food. I like sexy food. So these end pieces, I mean, you can do something else with them. I'm not going to use them for the dish for the sake of presentation. Let me take this and put this over here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lean my tomatoes up against here. I'm going to get all the juice that's come out so I can put my plate down so you can see how I'm going to plate these tomatoes. Actually, you know what? I'm going to save that for last. I'm going to lay my tomatoes over here for right now. I'm going to put those to the side. And now I'm going to do pretty much the same thing to my avocado. I'm just going to cut it differently. Here's my avocado. You want something that's nice and firm. And I'm going to take it like this and down the middle, and I'm going to literally just roll it around. Boom. And so there you have it. And I'm going to take, there we go. Pop that out. And for this right here, we're not going to cut it generally how you'll do it. We're going to peel it. That's why we want it nice and firm. So I'm going to peel this avocado, and you'll see why I'm peeling it. So yeah, so we're peeling this avocado. And so just by looking at the colors of what we're working with, that tomato.
I always wanted to ask Chef Ameera, is you know, how would you know when an avocado is ripe?
You just have to feel it, and just have to and that's being in tune. Like for one, you have the 11th chakra is in your hand. So even as you start to activate those chakras, it's going to talk like the food talks to me. It literally is going to, okay, great. Like even in your ancestors, like within my program, we connect to our ancestral sous chef that's in the kitchen with us. So being open to, the guidance that's coming. So, you're going to feel it. It should be firm. Should not be squishy. Or if you're going to do a guacamole, you can get that one. But yeah, it should be nice and firm. Especially for this dish right here. As far as presentation, you want something that's nice and firm, but not too firm. So I'm going to peel this as well. A guacamole, you can get that one. But yeah, okay, so here we go. We have these right here, and I'm going to show you exactly what I'm going to do with these. First, I'm going to get a napkin and wipe my hand. Okay. And so I'll start off with actually here, because then I can move it up. Okay, so we're going to cut it like same, and we're just going to do thinner. So when you're cutting this, you're going to want to, as you move your knife back, you're going to want to place your finger there so that it doesn't slide, the piece of your avocado doesn't do like what mine just did, with slide back. So I'm going to slice this up really cute and sexy. Okay. Oh, dang. Wait, let me put that in there. That one was a little too thin. And so I think we just can use one for the sake of presentation. I'm going to put this other one up. You want to save this so that it doesn't brown. And also I'm going to add some like lime juice to it. You're going to put your seed back in there so it keeps it from turning brown. Even when you do guacamole, you want to keep that seed in there. It keeps it from turning brown, or at least prolongs it from the oxidation process. That's what I'll say, because it still eventually will turn brown. But I'm just going to use half of this avocado for the sake of time. And so I'm going to bring this to the side. Now, let me wipe this down. I have my plate. Boom. So, I'm already going to start with a little bit of parsley around here. And then I'm going to take our tomatoes and I'm going to line these up as so. Okay, so we have our tomatoes there. And then I'm going to take our avocado, and basically, if you just kind of push down on it like that, it's going to go off to the side. Like so. There we go. I'm going to take those end pieces away. They're messing in my presentation. And oh my, this avocado is really good. Sprinkle with a little bit of salt. If you really don't like salt, guess what? Don't use it. I tell people just do what you like. And then I'm going to take, since I have this little bit of cumin that's in here, I'm just going to add my chipotle powder to it. Let me add just a little bit over here. Okay, so I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of that. And that's really what's going to make it pop. I'm all about spices. We'll add a little bit on our plate too for decoration. And I'm going to take a lime right here. And this is a microplane. Like this right here is my very best friend in the kitchen. Everybody should have a microplane. And I'm going to put some fresh zest directly on here. And I'm actually going to cut off a little bit. And I'm going to squeeze the juice, the lime juice on here. Yummy. Okay, and then we're going to hit it with the hemp seeds, which the hemp seeds literally have 4 grams of protein. Hemp seeds are my favorite source of protein. Put a little bit on there. And I'm going to pop a flower here. We're going to put some, let's bring you over here. Wait a minute. Over here, over there, a little bit over there. And then I'm going to break these. And wait, let me flip this over. And our dish is complete. See, literally that's like a 10-minute dish that you can do. Mm-hmm. And it's simple. And generally, if I had cut both of them, I would have fanned them like in an arch or a circle, and I would have had our tomatoes in the middle. And okay. So, yes, let me flip this around and back. Let me see, camera, front camera. Okay, so we are done. So that is our tomato and avocado carpaccio salad.
Okay, so on do you know, like, when you deal with people that are vegetarians and they have a criteria of foods, how do you demonstrate, like, because some people, they just think that it's just how can I put it, it's not filling. But then if you wanted something in creative filling in forms of like a breakfast, what kind of ideas could you give the people into giving?
That really is going to depend upon their preferences. And vegetarian, we're speaking of vegetarian, and we talking about they eat vegan or vegetarian? Because vegetarian, huh?
I'll stick to the vegetarian because some people are still doing their transition. So
I mean, a lot that you can do. I mean, for one, you have eggs, so there's a ton you can do there. And there's so many different alternatives that they have now. Like, I work a lot with hearts of palm and jackfruit. I do a lot of work with that. So that right there. But as far as like breakfast, I mean, even like chilaquiles, you can do that. You can do, I mean, I'm not a big breakfast person. So okay. I usually don't eat until like 11 o'clock is generally like my earliest time. Now that we're up, I made this. I'm going to eat it because I taste the avocado on this.
You're going to have to send some through DHL.
If I could, I most certainly would. I'm going to put the rest of this that's on the side. Actually, I'm just going to toss it.
And like when you're dealing with the celebrities, how do they find it in forms of especially when you're doing events? How do they find when you're cooking for them in certain criteria? How do you find working with them in that perspective?
This week is this diet I adapt well, and that's actually what we're all being asked to do right now, is to adapt to a few different things as we're being upgraded. So it's about knowing how to adapt, and most importantly, it's about knowing how to intuit my clients' needs. That's the most important thing with being a chef or being a private chef. It's not even so much about the skills. It's about, can you read the energy of your client? Do you know what they need? Like, that's why my clients hire me. Intuitively, I know what they need even before they even need it. Before they, I know exactly, okay, great, this is what they're, and because sometimes they're not even open to everything. So I don't force them. But, okay, great. Like, one of my clients, I didn't realize, he was like, yo, his wife was telling me, like, no, you changed his life. Like, he's like, yeah, I lost like 36 pounds. I was like, yo, let me get a testimony. Like, I didn't know that. So, I keep portions small. Like, one of my clients, he doesn't want, like, I make sure I put lots of veggies and stuff on his plate. I keep, like cauliflower rice instead of rice. I just work with what my clients' needs are. I mean, that's part of being a chef. It's not just about getting in the kitchen and cooking, or even being, that's why I say I'm a food alchemist, understanding those different things. Everybody cook whatever food, but to be able to cook something for your client and their needs, that's a totally, that's something completely different.
Okay. So, like, to make the people not understand, when you say food alchemist, what do you mean?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that, please?
When you say like food, like you say you're a food alchemist. I want to just give an understanding to the people out there what you mean by that.
Alchemy is the process of turning what lead into gold. So even if I'm taking this raw, like even what I did, that was a form of alchemy. I took just the raw tomato, I cut it, I put some things, and I turned it into something completely different. By adding the cilantro and those things, that was alchemy. So turning the lead into gold. It's being able to, for me, what I do with my clients, being an alchemist, and this is not even just the food, is to take the energy and put it into the food so that it creates literally that transformation that is needed from the inside out. Like, whether it's the food the food plus the energy plus the different ingredients, like that is the alchemy.
Okay, so, we have someone special in the chat room, someone very special. She's looking in. My favorite queen. She's in the house.
Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, she's tuning in.
Yambi was when was at the it was at the book sign. It was at the Spring Place, LA. It was a book sign. It was a book for the healers for Queen Afua. So thank you for tuning in, Queen.
Yeah, and the book is called Planet Heal.
That's book. That's
all the 75 different healers in the house, and even Majestic. Are you there? Majestic.
Yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Yes. As you're one of the women of the Planet Hill, give us a little info about this Planet Hill, because Queen's in the house and she just said blessed to all.
That's right. Welcome in, Queen Diambe. It's beautiful. Planet Heal, amazing. You know, as a contributor, how we can all collectively do our part, whether it be through the kitchen, through healing, through activating the chakras, and also, you know, as different professionals and in your career, you know, what you do to heal the planet, to heal the people, to heal ourselves. So I was grateful, you know, I'm grateful to be a part of, as a contributor of that. And yeah, this is wonderful. This is powerful, Sister Ameera, with what you're sharing, because you know, I'm forever a student and I'm still learning.
I'm forever student.
Yes. There was a question. Somebody asked me, because I have my brothers who worked out with me as well. So they're tuned in. And they did have a question, but I don't want to go off topic. So just remember to ask me to ask the question again. But it's about complex cards.
We'll get their question momentarily. Yes.
Sure. Yes. But thank you. Welcome in, Queen Diambe.
Yes. And I want to show everyone something. This is a different, I showed you the other way how I presented the avocado. Now this is the same cut.
Wow.
Literally presented it differently. So wait, we can really, hold on, this down so that you can see. Boom. There we go. So what I did was literally, I took it, instead of laying it that way, I laid it the other way. And, you know, you can create art on your plate. So that's, you know, I'm all about creating art and having fun on the plate. And literally this avocado is so good. That, okay, here we go. The avocado is so good, it really doesn't even need anything. I just ate a piece of it. Yes. Oh, thank you, Queen Diambe. Lovely words of wisdom for us. She's proud of we are following the footsteps of our ancestors. Yes, we are. It is our time. It is our time.
Mm-hmm. You know, it's all about empowering the sisters, and you know, and the one thing I've always said, you know, about internationally sisters coming together. You know, I'm always asking people to go to internationalsisters.com and follow yourself forward, because it is about the women rising up and showing what they can actually do. So in speaking like that, there is a lot of things that are happening, and I'm going to announce this with Queen Diambe that, you know, we're going, as I said, in February, we're going to Brazil, and from Brazil, we're going to Cameroon. So she's inviting as much people who would like to come along and be invited to her entourage. So whether you just want to come to Brazil or whether you want to come to Cameroon, hopefully everything has been sorted between the airlines and all this quarantine stuff. Once that's all been sorted, then we can able to start making moves internationally, because this is what the International Sister Circle is standing for, in uniting all sisters around across the globe. So in terms of everyone's creativity, as you can see today, Chef Ameera is showing you what she can do, and she worked with quite a lot of celebrities. You know, I don't want to drop any names, but in what you do, what can you say is one of your best and biggest celebrities that you can say that you enjoyed working with?
Gosh. I mean, they all have, I mean, I don't want to say this is my favorite, but I'll say, let me think of like one memory that's coming up with the celebrity. You know, actually I'll share a few. So it's not just like, literally, when the beginning of my career, I was working with Little. So would think like, oh my goodness, and yes, I understand his music and everything, but can I tell you, like the amount like yes man, respect, and I learned how to even start to ask for what I needed working with him. First, I would say I was bringing the food traveling there, and I was like, "Yeah, driving back and forth." They were like, "Oh, we'll just get you a sweet, and you'll just cook in the kitchen." I was like, "Oh, okay." So I started work manifesting. So every client I have a lesson that they teach me and something that I am to learn so that I can go to the next level. And so with even with I'm trying to think I mean with Common, that's what yesterday, like I mean, it's always love. It's just so much love. Like, do whatever you're gonna do, Chef Ameera, like the energy is here. Like I love him. I mean Kelly Rowland has been like she's super sweet. Yeah, like so every when I work with Diddy, I really understood how to set boundaries and how to like certain things that I mean we've seen like the walk to go get the cheesecake. We understand that aspect of his personality. I've heard different things with other chefs, but with me and that like it would just understand. Okay, chef, like never rush me. Okay, how much time you need? Okay, great. Just put the love. Okay, we're not even rush. Like just that respect was there, but it came from me. It first came from me, key thing, and then that was reflected. So yeah, I'm grateful for all of them and what they've taught me. And even from Common, I told him because we worked together and then we stopped working together in 2018, and now I'm back. And I told him that I was like, what I learned from you, and I knew like what I was to learn from you is how to build a team. And now I have an amazing team. Like even I was in St. Lucia and my team was doing the Christmas party and they were like, yo, your team killed. I didn't even need to be there. And I was feeling like I had to be there and I don't have to be there as long as my team has my vision, going back to the vision, everything will be executed. And I can, it's all about replicating ourselves so that we can really just activate and have more light come on the planet. So, yeah.
Okay. I was just going to go through your website because a lot of people, so that we can see what Chef Ameera is really about on her website and able to see the details. Let me see if I can get it up.
This is website when my daughter's redoing we're redoing my site. Whole new branding. A whole new rebirth.
Okay. Yep. And as you can see, we can go through it as I know you're doing a whole new branding, but if there was people needed to find you on your website or find how to in forms of contact and what you do and what you're about, give us some details about your website.
Boom. www.chefameera.com. So I think there is a contact form that you can fill out on there.
Yeah, let me check. There is a contact form. This is the contact form. Just put your name, email, and whatsoever. Chef Ameera. You could go through her first page, the homing page at this precise moment, and it gives you quite full details of what she does, and she does tailor-made, she does events, and then you can go through her menus, her contacts, clients, amazing clients, as you can see, people. There's some big names there. I'm feeling very embarrassed. But yeah, she's done quite a lot of events and things like that. It's got the about page. And, Chef Ameera, just quickly go brief through your 7-day challenge.
Okay, so the 7-day challenge, which is now that right there it's now my it's the Elevate Your Vibration Chakra Cleanse, and I have a monthly subscription that I'm actually working on because I still have like say different groups like for everybody who's gone through a different cycle. And so I can just have it one portal for people who still want to get like the wisdom. So I'm putting those offerings together. But so within this cleanse, this vibrational cleanse, there are recipes. And also you connect. So this was like, you can say this was just like the baby that created Elevate Your Vibration. So in Elevate Your Vibration Cleanse, It's raw foods. It need to be vegan because I meet people where they're at. I'm like, even if you can't do the fully raw, do vegan, because I understand sometimes. I remember I've gone raw before and my digestion, it couldn't handle it just because I hadn't been eating raw in so long. So I like to meet people where they're at. But daily, we have an attunement that goes to each chakra, starting with the root chakra. And right now, my program is 2 weeks because I go through the shot, like just as the energy goes up, it also has to come down. You have to ground it. So that leaves, a lot of people are ungrounded. They're not in their body because they're raising the energy up, but they're not bringing it back down into the earth. So it's 2 weeks. The food, the sound healing that goes along with that, and just the education on the chakras as is to, like, here's your root chakra, the seed mantra sound, the symbol that's connected to it, the deities that are connected to it, because within those, there you have these deities that are within there that actually are within you that you can invoke to help guide you, to help work through something. Like for me, I work with Lakshmi a lot. Like that's a lot of how my wealth flows in. Yes, it's me, but I work with deities that are connected to what it is that I'm facilitating within my life. So whether it's wealth, it's health, like health. As a matter of fact, I'm going to share this on here and I haven't even shared it yet. So I'm not sure. Have you heard of ISO tea? Has everybody heard of the ISO tea? The Total Life Change. It's not a plug for the company, but I just want to share something. Has anybody heard of ISO tea? Anybody?
Nah, not at this precise moment. I'm a newbie.
Called ISO tea. And so literally my spirit was like, go look. I always look up. So my program, my patron goddess is Hathor. So even if you go through like we have the different gateways, we have different goddess connected to it. So I was like, let me just look up this word ISO. She's a god of healing. Now I know why the product does what it does and how it actually is gotten to is because it's connected to the energy of a goddess that heals. And that's something that we have to do. Even I would say is, everyone, but our people in particular, connecting to they're all within us. It's not like outside or, you're not going to go to hell because you're embracing this. That actually is our true spiritual foundation, is because we understood that all these different aspects exist within nature, which is the Netzer rules. It's not like it's within you and it's outside of you. It's as above, so below. And so, so each chakra we go through, we cleanse, and I share different insights, and everybody that has gone through my program has been transformed. Like, literally from, oh my goodness, I got even girl, her daughter did it, lost 6 pounds, consciousness change, people with had got, raises or money, just different things. Everybody's just life shift, their vibration elevated, did exactly what my intentions were to elevate their vibration and evolve their soul, because that's what we're here on planet Earth to do, is to evolve our soul.
Yeah. Okay. So, Majestic.
Yes, I'm here. Yes.
You was going to ask that question about the brothers.
Oh yes. So, and I had to the courses sounds really powerful. Like they haven't learned about the chakra. Like I know about the chakras, but pertaining to how you teach it, connecting it with the foods, and like this is powerful. So I'm gonna connect with you after learn more about your program.
Okay.
So for the question about the complex carbs, so they wanted to know suggestions on they stop eating carbs, don't have a lot of energy, and they are clean, lean protein eaters. They're not plant-based, but would you give some suggestions on complex carbs versus
I'll tell you that is
carbs that they've stopped eating and actually made.
It's cutting out a bit.
I know,
but
I think complex carbs versus simple carbs, and that is not my area of expertise. But I like to just this is what I would suggest is keeping things whole. I'm into whole foods. That's where we're dealing with a lot of process. That's where we're getting a lot of issues. Whole foods. So whether they are yams or even like although I do potatoes, I'm not a big potato person just because they're starchy. So I'm gonna say like more of yams or sweet potatoes. Um, even complex, I guess like king or see, there's always like some people say it's good, some people say it's bad. How does your body feel? How does your body digest it? So maybe it might be quinoa, fonio, which is a grain from Africa. I would see like what are some these carbs that are like that are in Africa that a lot of start to do those, because that actually will be what's designed for our body. Because I can tell you, like mostly everything that has come from is not based off of anybody who's melanated. So a lot of these different things, we're gonna have to start to research what works for our body and go by that. We have to write the thing that this stuff, the information has been out, is not for us. So that's what we had. Yeah, that's what we've got to do. Is we've got like, so I'm just gonna say keep it whole. Like, sweet potato, that's the first thing. Like I just look at the vision that that popped in my head was sweet potatoes and yams. And then use that and go see what worked. Like, okay, what works for you, what works for the body. So I hope that answered that question. But yeah, that's not my area of expertise. I know people who are like, take this, take that. I mean, even a lot of the plant carbs, was coming to even like, spirulina and the hemp seed, certain things like that. I'm sure they have amount of carbs, but just keeping like things whole. That's going to be, because then we know it's not processed, it's, and it's the closest thing to the divine creator. So I hope that answers your question. And yeah, that is not my my expertise. My expertise is the energetic imprint in the food and how it's
so in terms of that energetic imprint, in forms of my heart chakra, how do I apply that to my heart chakra?
Well, even the avocado was green, so that would have activated just, colors alone. It's like color therapy activates certain chakras. So any kind of leafy green, clear, like green is the heart chakra, but also, if something is pink as well, pink, those are the two colors of the heart chakra. So lots of leafy greens, herbs, that's heart chakra. Because the heart pumps blood, and a lot of those things are great for the blood. So yeah, that's how you're going to apply that. Looking at the color of the foods. And I really, I share information and I go through like, here's the color of the foods. I don't have just like here, and I might even have a meal like food, like here is for the root chakra, like certain juices, like the red goddess juice and that. Yes. But you're going to end up mixing it up. I don't want a whole just red plate. That's me. Unless I'm having a mono meal of watermelon, because that right there is going to be a root chakra. But I have different colors in my plate. Now I might be focused energetically on that one chakra, and but that I have different colors in my plate.
Okay. I don't know if Majestic is back in. Hold on. But yeah, so I just wanted to talk about one more kind of a thing that was deeply to you, because we had a conversation, and through your accident, and how did you able to heal yourself to where you are now? Because everyone's always want to find out the secrets, because it's that testimony of secrets that can able to enhance us to moving forward. And I want to just have an insight of how you applied what you eat to pushing you forward in that direction to where you are now, because you wouldn't even believe anything had happened, because of where you are now.
I can't believe that you were like in an accident in January. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, fractured pelvis, sacrum, and vertebrae, and it took me a month to learn how to walk again. But so here is the secret, and here is like behind the scenes. So I'm grateful for Queen Afua, who came by and saw me just a few days after in the hospital. Or was it the next day? Anyway, she gave me some green life. So I had my green life daily. Was I vegan raw? No, I wasn't, because I was in like when I needed comfort and I wanted something, that's what I ate. I wanted eggs. I would eat eggs. Like I wasn't big on a bunch of meat. Maybe I had something, but I really just focused on like what was going to make me feel good. Because when I was feel good, that means that my body was relaxed enough to be able to heal itself. And that's what for somebody who's a vegan, then that you can apply that to you. I know that this what works for me. And I know that I vibrate high. So that's why a lot of, I tell people do what works for you. So aromatherapy, I had a diffuser in my room. I had an altar set up in my room. I had people that were praying for me. It wasn't like the food was one component. Like even when people come through my program, they say, I came for the food, but I got so much more because that is root chakra. That's just a small fraction of what, you're healing is, but that is the gateway now. So it definitely is there, but we focus on so many other things because that's really where the healing comes in. And so, and literally, like, quite honestly, because I was in a lot of pain, like pelvic fractures are, and I'm happy it didn't break. That's how I knew, like, literally, it must have been an angel that was there so I didn't fall or the way that I could have fell. But, where was I going with that? Pelvic fracture, the painful. So the meds that I was on, like I had a lot of meds, and those meds are they're brutal. People are addicted to them. They take them to check out. I couldn't wait to get off of them. Like literally, I was feeling a little depressed at times, like where this is not me. And I knew it was the meds, but I was in pain. And people are like, well, just take. No, I did. Yes, I did the CBD. I was taking CBD and all kind of CBD in addition to the medicine. Like even the medicine, like I would have to take so much because I have a very high tolerance for pain. So I was like, that's not enough. Like you guys need to give me more. Like your pelvic fracture, because there's nothing that you can do about it. Like your pelvis is basically, it's almost kind of like how the heart chakra is the bridge between the upper chakras. Like that is the pelvis holds up your, like if you take your pelvis out, you can't walk. It is basically the structure, the supporting structure of your frame, of your spine, everything else. So, and I had to say, get up to use the restroom. Like it was a lot. Like I'm thinking back, it was very painful, but I had a lot of even mystical experiences, which I will share with you. There was one day, as a matter of fact, I remember my friend, she brought me these flowers in, and it was Chinese New Year, which she knows that I celebrate Chinese New Year. And I am connected to the Jade Emperor, which is in that pantheon. And that day, like literally, I thought it was a fly. I was like, what is this fly in here? It was a bee. So I'm like, okay, this bee came in. I call a nurse to come get the bee out. So then 2 more come in. So now mind you, I'm in the hospital. There's no window open. So they're coming through the vents. And I remember that day I happened to put on lemongrass in my diffuser, which is a connect to high spiritual realms. So I'm like, because I had to go back, okay, like, see, what did I do different that day? I put on lemongrass. So 2 came and 4 more came. And then 6 more came, and before you knew it, there was a swarm of bees in my hospital bed, in my hospital room. So it's like, okay, I was like, so the universe is speaking. Of course, I'm looking at like royalty, and they're rushing to get me out of there because at that point in time, like it would take me literally 10 minutes just to get out of a bed because I had to could move my legs a certain way because they would cramp and then there was a whole thing to where they had to call security because they're like, you can't have your diffuser. And I was like, no, because it's plugged in. They were saying it was like a fire hat. Like it was a whole big thing. But anyway, I had my daughter bring my portable diffuser and that just solved that. So I was like, get out my room. This is my healing sanctuary. So the divine shit literally just showed up, and understanding the elements or understanding like the life of a bee, how it's in a hive and they work together, and my spiritual team definitely was played a major role in my healing. Like everything from Queen of Food to anybody who was sending me, like, we're sending you love, we're sending, like all of that took part in the healing that I have. Like I said, the fact that a lot of people were like, oh, you got in that car accident. I was like, no, I was hit by a car walking across the street. I was not in an accident. I was actually hit. They're like, you mean you were physically? Yes, I was physically hit by the car. So, yeah, so I'm grateful in that. But I had my day, I had my chlorella, like the main, like, so that was the foundation. I had fresh juices. There was one point that night that they told me I couldn't do my diffuser. I had to wait for my daughter to bring it that night. When I tell you, I woke up the next day, I was coughing, like, because it was keeping the energy out. And for me to cough because I had the fractures, it was painful. So I immediately had my friend bring me some shots, some ginger shots and everything, and took that, like what was trying to come in my body, it took that all away. Now, mind you, that was in February. That's actually when a lot of that, I'm not going to give it a name, but a lot of that when that was going around. So, you know, my body was, I'm just really for the process because, yeah, it was my team, like all those different things. It wasn't just the food. 'Cause yes, I still had egg, like the breakfast. I want that pancake. It made me feel good, and I usually don't even eat that stuff. I'm in a room by myself or in the sun, laying in bed to where, you know, like that is comforting. That energetically, it raises my energy. So that was part of my medicine.
Okay. All right. Yeah. By the way, at 5 o'clock, we have our Honourable Queen of Fua going live on Instagram.
Right? It's now.
Yeah.
So we
Yeah.
can end, yeah, we can end this. This was this was absolutely beautiful sharing, because sharing is caring, and come together with my brothers and sisters. And my majestic, I love you.
So,
love you, Queen. Love you too.
Queen of Fua.
Amazing.
Queen of Fua is on Instagram Live. She started at 5 o'clock.
Right.
She's got Maya and Karen Civil, and it's going to be a very interesting topic. And then later on, UK time 9 o'clock, you got Queen Diambi and a few other sisters on IG once again, which they're going to be talking about traumas. So 9 o'clock UK time will be 4 o'clock EST time. So, you know, don't miss that, and don't miss Queen of Fuas, and it'll be a fantastic time to have a good Women's Day. But in saying that, we've had a fantastic build today.
Yes.
And if there's one last thing that you would like to say to the people and the family, both of you, please have your last say before we head out. But during the week, we're going to be having fantastic things. And we're going to be even on Friday, 8 o'clock our time, which will be 3 o'clock EST time. We're going to be talking about the EFA system and things like that. So that's going to be a great build on Friday. That's 8 p.m. UK time, 3 p.m. EST time. So that's going to be beautiful. So, ladies, if you have something last to say to the people and to the family, please push your narrative forward and some wisdom to the family.
You want to go first, Majestic?
Yeah, Majestic.
Sure, Queen. Sure. Thank you so much. Thanks to everyone who tuned in today. I want to thank Sister Chef Ameera. Thank you, sis. It's alchemy at its highest. Brother Terry, thank you, Black Ice TV. And always remember, you know, food for the body, nutrition for the body, but also food for the thought. And keep the balance, strive for that balance and create that balance. We have the power to do it, right? We just have to be in tune. But to be in tune, we have to tune in. So I'm grateful that I tuned in today, and looking forward to much more. Thank you, Chef Ameera. Salute. Give thanks and praise.
Yes. Yes. Well, thank you for having me, Brother Terry, and also thank you, Black Ice TV, and my international sister circle. I appreciate you all for having me. And yeah, right now is a time for us to, you know, raise our vibration. And when we raise our vibration, we raise our consciousness. And food, being connected to the root chakra, is like that gateway. So really being mindful of what we're putting in our body, and so that we can just produce high vibratory thoughts that, you know, affect those around us to even wake up, you know, those who have, you know, chosen to wake up in this lifetime. And yeah, I mean, that's that's the gateway. We're like, you know, that, and there's healing, but let's start with food right now. That's what we can control, because if you can't control what you're putting in your body, then that's the very first step. Then you can't control other things around you. So I do have, definitely look me up at Chef Ameera, and I have tools to assist us all on this journey because there's a transference of wealth that's happening. So let's tap in. I'm tapped in. So if you want to tap in as well, and within that wealth, there is health as well. Those things are included. When I speak of wealth, I'm not just talking about monetary. I'm talking about everything that goes within true wealth. So thank you for having me. And I look forward to tuning into the future. So thank you.
Yes, and family, as you know, hopefully in the future tenses, Chef Ameera will be doing some cooking shows for us. Look out for that future. Because, you know, it's about, you know, food for thought. You know, your wealth is your health. And, you know, we're trying to build the sister circle as much as possible to getting it to being great. But, you know, before we can do that, we need you, our sisters, to put in the effort, and we all work as a team because we all love you out there. And, you know, don't forget to able to tune in to Queen Afua, who has already started, and keep your health intact. Because, you know, we're going through this epidemic, but, you know, whether it's true or not, I love you loads. Stay black, believe in black, love black, and keep your black health intact. Peace.